everybody, Tim Norris here, aka GreyElephant, and welcome to a top list by GreyElephant Gaming. Today we're going to be talking about Gen Con 50. Oh my god, 50 years, it's the anniversary of Gen Con. And I didn't even buy anything special. This is probably the 7th or 8th Gen Con that I have attended in a row. I will never forget the first Gen Con I attended. I actually won tickets from a radio station. I called in, I won this little game, and I had to go pick them up, and I was lost. I had no idea what was going on there. Now, as what I would consider a veteran of conventions, and especially Gen Con, I'm way more organized, and I've got a great idea of what I'm doing when I go in. And one of those things that I do is I make a list of my top games that I am most looking forward to trying out. And it's something then that I can do, and I can just scratch them off as I play them. Or maybe when I get there and I look at it and I watch other people play and I'm like, well, that's not quite meeting the expectations I thought, and yet we still scratch it off. Well, today I'm going to tell you my top 10.5 games that I am most excited about checking out at Gen Con. Now I'm going to do my best to try to film these games and bring them to you and give you my first thoughts of what I think of these games. I know, I'm Mr. Redundant. Let's get into my list. Shark Island by Upper Deck. This will be located at booth 1215. Now, Shark Island is basically Jaws the board game, but we're not going to say that. We're going to say Shark Island. Now, this is designed by a friend of mine, Pete Shirey, and he is known as the Shark Dude. So this ought to be interesting to try out. One player is going to play as the shark. And he's just going to be swimming around, and he's going to be doing his thing and trying to bring terror to the islands. Now, if he gets the terror up to a certain level, well, the shark wins, and he can strut off onto the ocean with his chest all out, be like, oh yeah, king of the ocean. But the other players play as hunters. And as the hunters, what you're trying to do is, well, hunt a shark. Now, the shark's going to be hiding in debris. He's going to be hiding in with other fishes, doing his little shark thing, you know, hiding out. Your job is to try to lure him out and defeat him, or push him deep into the ocean. One way or another, you got to get rid of this shark, and you have to keep that terror down. It ought to be interesting to see how this works out. So, a semi-cooperative game with one person as the shark, everybody else will be as the hunters. I think this one sounds fun. It makes me kind of think of like Fury of Dracula, a game like that where you're trying to find Dracula, but Dracula is actually a shark, and he eats people. Alright, the next one will be Champions of Horror from Greenbrier Games, booth 164. Alright, so I don't know a ton about this one, other than the fact that I am a fantasy dude. I love fantasy games. I love games that allow me to go and kill monsters, and they allow me to upgrade my character or get new abilities, and that's exactly what this one sounds. So I'm just going to read to you a little bit, because I've got like the description here, and I'm going to read to you what kind of jumped out to me. It says, Champions of Horror is an adventure board game in which 1 to 4 players race to protect a dying world. Players will contain destructive energy by defeating monsters, closing rifts, and exploring the 6 different zones within Horror. In order to rise to the challenge, players will need to unlock new abilities and collect powerful items. Each session takes approximately 30 minutes per player. Sign me up, baby. I love that stuff. So I will be checking that one out for sure. That sounds like a lot of fun. Number 3, Dragonfire by Catalyst Games. They will be located at booth 1611. Now, Dragonfire is a deck builder. If you know me, I love deck building games, so this one sounds no different. But the cool part about this one is that it is a cooperative deck builder, and it is a game that I believe will be taken over the course of several sessions, and you're going to be able to upgrade your character along the way. So you'll be basically like, it says here, it's from Dungeons and Dragons. Players choose from a number of races, from dwarf to elf, half-orc to human, typical stuff, right? While assuming the quintessential roles of cleric, rogue, fighter, wizard, equipped with weapons, spells, magic items, you'll begin the adventure along the famed Sword Coast, then expand to other locations across the Forgotten Realms, such as Baldur's Gate, Neverwinter, and Waterdeep in future expansions. Along the way, players level up their characters, opening up additional equipment, feats, and more. That sounds like awesomeness in a box. Sign me up, baby. I want to play that one. Number 4, Professor Evil and the Citadel of Time from Passport Game Studios. Funforge, located at booth 2549. All right, once again, I got to kind of read this because this has kind of got like a lot of stuff going on here, which is really interesting. But basically, Professor Evil, he has a time machine, and what he's doing is he's going off and he's ripping off these historical items from the past and future. And what you got to do is you got to be able to find Professor Evil. He's so evil, and you have to get these relics back, and you have to return them back to the time in which they actually belong. If you're not able to do that, obviously you are going to lose. But this one sounds really fun, and it absolutely looks beautiful, and I think that's one of the things that, look, I'm a sucker for beautiful artwork and beautiful components, so as soon as I see that, I'm immediately going to be interested into the game. And then once I read up on kind of how the game works, I was even more interested. There's a reason this is #1 on the hotness on Board Game Geek. This one sounds like a lot of fun. Number 5 will be Ex Libris from Renegade Games. Sorry, I almost said studio. Booth number 2211. Now, if you're not familiar with Ex Libris, that's basically an inscription on a book plate used to show the name of a book owner. Okay, and what this is about is building a grand library, and what you're trying to do, so let me just read it to you a little bit because it'll explain it better than I can in words. You are a collector of rare and valuable books in a thriving gnomish village. Recently, the mayor and village council have announced the grand opening of a grand librarian, a prestigious and lucrative position they intend to award to the most qualified villager. Unfortunately, several of your book collector colleagues or acquaintances are also candidates. So basically what you're going to be doing then is you're going to try to create the grand library and try to win the favor to be able to become the grand library, then become the grand librarian. And that sounds cool and unique. I like that theme. So this sounds like a lot of fun. And plus, let's be honest, most of the stuff that Renegade Games does is pretty well golden these days, right? So I don't think this one's going to disappoint. Number 6, Fate of the Elder Gods, Greater Than Games, located at booth 1343. I am a fan of the Lovecraft, and this is a game that I saw back when it was being demoed, before it even went on Kickstarter last year, and even I think at Origins. And this is a game that I'm really highly interested in. It looks beautiful in production, plus I do like the designers of this game quite a bit. But let me just kind of read a little bit of the description so that you guys can understand what's got me excited as well. Once again, it is Lovecraft. We know it's a dime a dozen. We've seen plenty of Lovecraft games, but let me still read this. Basically, you're taking on the role of an ever-maddening cult trying to summon ancient evil and herald the fall of mankind. No surprise there, right? Something I do pretty much every morning when I'm drinking coffee. Each cult is in competition to be first to summon their god, but they must also repel intrepid investigators working to seal off the gates beyond with elder signs. Gather arcane artifacts, cast powerful spells, embrace the dark gift of your elder god, and be first to hasten doom before it's too late. So, doom. I'm all about doom. And I'm all about bringing as much doom as I possibly can. So any game that helps give me ideas on how to bring doom, I want to try those out. Number 7. Fish Wizard Games, Gateway Uprising, located at booth number 415. Once again, this is a deck builder, which, I told you, I'm a fan of deck builders, and it is fantasy. I'm a fantasy guy. I love fantasy games. I love fighting monsters. I love, friending monsters. I like monsters. And let me get to the description. So basically what this is you take on the role of an insurgent wizard. You are determined to reclaim the great city of Gateway. Now to be able to do that is that you will be each player begins the game as the same with same starter resources of basic insurgent wizards, merchants, and a magical runestone. From there, the similarities end. Players will draft new wizards, heroes, and magical creatures into their ranks, building up an army to defeat and defend the different districts of Gateway. Now, you'll be able to gain runestones and powerful spells that can turn the tide of battle instantly. And to be able to win, players must collect victory points by defeating the City Guard and the Druger Horde. So this sounds like a lot of fun. I love cooperative, semi-cooperative games. I love deck builders. I love fantasy. This sounds like a win all across the board. Number 8, Dragon Island R&R Games, booth number 1913. In Dragon Island, you and 3 other players take on the role of wizards. Are we catching a theme here? Okay. Cast away onto the seemingly deserted island. Players compete throughout their journey to gain as much treasure as possible, building up the island tile by double-sided tiles. Discover exotic terrains, build special structures, manage your magical energy, and tame dragons. Once the entire island has been discovered, your quest is over, and whomever has accumulated the most treasure wins. This looks like a lot of fun. I'm excited to try that one out. Number 9. Now, listen. One of my favorite all-time horror films is what I'm about to say here. When I was a kid and I saw it for the first time, scared me out of my skin. I was only like maybe 5, 6 years old at the time, and I never slept well after that for years. The Thing, Infection at Outpost 31. This is USAopoly and Mondo Games, located at booth number 149. All right, let me set this up for you. It is the start of a bleak, desolate Antarctic winter when a group of NSF researchers manning the claustrophobic isolated US Outpost 31 comes in contact with a hostile extraterrestrial life form. Bent on assimilating Earth's native species, this being infiltrates the facility, creating a perfect imitation of one of the Outpost 31 crew. The staff frantically begin to sweep of the base, desperate to purge this alien infection before escaping to warn McMurdo Station that somewhere out there in the frigid darkness, something horrible is waiting. Now, this is a game where obviously it could take on the hidden roles and stuff where one person could be affected. Now, I've seen games try to do this in the past, and I think that they failed pretty badly at this. And a lot of times, if this is the case of like a hidden role, it's always that, oh, surprise! It was me all along. I was the turkey. And sometimes those games, if they're not done well enough to where the timing can be just right, where you're on the brink of either winning or losing, then they just fall apart horribly. I've had games in the past where you were able to find the betrayal fat quickly early in the game, and from then on out it was just basically systematic of just trying to finish the game to be able to win, and it really wasn't exciting, and especially not for the person who was the betrayer or the infected. So I'm excited to try this one out to see how they were able to adapt and try to bring that realistic horror feeling, that feeling of suspense of the unknown into a board game. It ought to be interesting. Number 10, Immortals, Queen Games, booth number 2527. Now, if you just look at this game, you'll know exactly why I'm interested in it. It looks gorgeous, but let me read the description as well. Mind you, this is a good designer as well, Mike Elliott. In Immortals, each game is just another episode in the eternal cycle of war between the light realm and the dark realm in the world of Twilight. Not Twilight the books, man. We're not going to have sparkly vampires. The armies defeated in one world are resurrected in the other world. Come on, man. How does that not sound amazingly awesome? It is each player's aim to control and make efficient use of different areas and the resources, inhabitants, gold energy in both realms. The player with most successful implements their ambitions will be the winner of the game. That sounds super fun, and I am excited to try that one out. So number 10.5. Well, that's the hug game. Well, I know, come on. I'm getting all mushy, aren't I? This is the Tim Norris hug game. Basically, at Origins, I had a goal of 50 hugs. Origins is a smaller convention. This time we're going to go in with the anticipation of 100 hugs that I expect and to be able to get a photo with you. So if you want to get a hug from the elephant, come on up, man. I'm a huggable dude. And we're going to get a photo of the two of us, and we'll feature you in our aftermath video of Gen Con. Now, 5 things I want to cover real fast that if you're not familiar with attending the conventions, I want to go over these because these are the 5 most important things that I think are essential for your Gen Con enjoyment. In fact, I could almost add a 6th, and I will. Number 1, bring water with yourself. You're going to get dehydrated pretty quick, and when you're in that many, a group with that many people, try to stay off sodas. Try to, sugary drinks. Those kind of things will dehydrate you. Just bring some bottled waters. Bring them in a backpack. Highly recommend it because when you get thirsty, you're not going to want to have to leave the tables to go somewhere, and if you do, then you're probably going to be getting sodas, or you're going to be paying $3 or $4 for a bottle of water. Just stop, get yourself 3 or 4 and put them in your backpack, carry them with you at all times. Number 2, snacks. Just bring little snacks. You're going to be gaming and you're not going to realize it until you start becoming hangry, hungry, you know, and we all do that. Just bring yourself some snacks to where you have at least something to tide yourself over before you're going to be going and getting yourself some real sustenance. I just, you know, small things that aren't going to be weighing you down, because you want to try to pack as light as you can. And keep in mind, if you do have those waters, they will be taking up quite a bit of, they will create quite a bit of weight. 3, especially for you dudes, bring a little thing of deodorant. We stink, all right, man. When guys, especially guys, all right, because you know, it's different for women because you don't sweat and you're not as disgusting as us men. When we sweat, we get super disgusting. Bring deodorant. I don't want to smell your funk, okay? Just spray yourself down. It would be really polite to not just yourself, but everybody else that's attending. Just bring some deodorant. And if you know, maybe break a little wind, maybe spray a little bit on there too and keep that on down. I don't want to smell your body. It's disgusting. Number 4, hand sanitizer. Keep in mind, as you're playing games, hundreds of other people have been touching those games. As you're shaking hands, hundreds of other people have been shaking hands. When you're hugging one another, you know, these things, you're swapping germs nonstop. Gen Con is notorious for creating a con-funk. Bring some hand sanitizer with you. Trust me, this is one of the most important things that you can make sure you have in your pack. A little bottle of hand sanitizer is going to prevent months, you know, of coughing and just feeling like crap after Gen Con's over. Number 5, comfortable clothing. Do not try to wear clothing that's going to be too tight, or clothing that's going to restrict you, or that's going to make you too hot. You're going to be in rooms with a lot of other people, and the BTUs are going to be up through the roof. Now, even though they have a pretty decent ventilation system there at Gen Con, just keep in mind, you can get super duper hot, and once you get hot, you get sweaty. Once you get sweaty, you create your BO, and if you don't have your deodorant, we go back to number 3, and I start getting grumpy because you stink. So just try to wear clothes that are going to keep you cool, that are not too tight, that you can sit down and lift up, that you can reach, and just nice and flexible clothing. You know, shirts and jeans that are, and shoes especially too, because you're going to be doing a lot of walking. Number 6, try not to bring too much stuff on you, because, you know, when you're carrying that stuff around as a backpack or even as a sack, try to, you know, even if you do like a satchel, try not to weigh yourself down too much, because it will hurt your body after a while. So, all right, guys, that's pretty much it. I look forward to seeing you guys at Gen Con. Make sure you come up. You'll get a hug from the elephant, and I'll try to bring as many videos to you as I possibly can. Anything that I did not list here that you would like to see me try to sit down and film for you, leave a comment below, and I'll do my best to accommodate you. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.